Good evening, good morning, or good night. Welcome to the podcast. Today we will be talking about Injustice 1 for the Xbox 360, Wii U, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, and a bunch of other consoles. Now, this game I absolutely love. That cannot be understated at all. It's probably my third favorite fighting game, aside from Smash Brothers and Street Fighter, and this game just means the whole lot to me. Just overall memories with it, and just overall how it got me into DC Comics and the competitive scene of fighting games. And I think part of that is just the extensive roster, because there definitely isn't a stone left unturned with it, which really makes me glad to see, because even as a kid, I had so much fun with these characters, and heck, in a few years, the game's going to be turning 10. I feel kind of old now, but I digress. I'm personally a Deathstroke main, because he's just super fun to play with his specials and his overall technique. And there are definitely other cool characters that have a lot of gimmicks and a lot of ways you can beat down your opponent with different strategies. Like, for example, Doomsday, you need to be a bit closer and a bit more grapply, kind of like Zangief from Street Fighter. However, you can also use a special just to do some more damage and chip off some more. And Joker, my second main, he's kind of gimmicky, but if you can get him down, he just works fine. I don't really like his special all that much, because it's kind of like a parry, but it's not that great. It's kind of boring in my opinion, but it's very situational. But other than that, I feel like the specials are really well balanced for the most part. Not gonna mention Shazam, but I really like the game, and genuinely speaking, the stages are pretty neat too. So not just the characters, and the stages have really amazing stage transitions, stage interactions. And I know for one, when I was a kid, I'd always lure my friend over to the burning platform. I think this was in the Hall of not the Hall of Justice. It was like a satellite in the sky. I forget what it's called, but I would always lure him to the fire and then turn on the button, and it'd spew out flames, and it made me laugh, and it was funny. We always had a fun time. And just overall, I love the stages in this game, because there's not one stage that just seems like either too balanced or just too boring, or not that either too balanced or too unfair. It's always kind of wacky, but at the same time, you can totally win if you know what you're doing, as most fighting games should be. Although, what's a fighting game without its great modes? And Injustice certainly has good ones, in my opinion. For example, Star Labs, it can give a plethora of mini combat missions, or it can give Catwoman burglaries for some reason. They're new little distractions, which at the same time unlock new rewards and new costumes, and hey, maybe you even have some fun with it. However, the real meat and potatoes of this game is the story mode, and when I saw it as a kid, I was like, whoa, I don't know what's going on, but it's cool. But now I just see it, and I'm blown away by how intricate it is, and it's just so good. I know that the graphics aren't polished by any means, but for 2013 standards, it's pretty good in my opinion. And it's a good plot too. I mean, after all, they did kind of make a comic book after it, so it kind of had to be. But basically, it's kind of straightforward. You play 5 matches as a character, and then you move on to the next character. Until you do that and you beat Superman. Oh yeah, spoilers, he's the final boss. But yeah, you just kind of beat up people as most fighting games do. But in my opinion, Injustice does it extremely well, because it's super easy to get the hang of. Now, I know a few people that do not like this at all. I know I have one friend who hates Injustice because the skill cap is way too small. And it's super easy to pull off combos and overall just wreck your opponent. But in my opinion, it makes the perfect party fighting game. Heck, I'd say even more than Smash Bros. Sometimes. It's just an overall easy game to get the hang of, and really, really easy to master, actually, in my opinion. Not the easiest to master, by far. That title would go to Tekken, in my opinion. But I'd definitely say that the skill cap is super low, and that's what I like about it. I mean, overall, I'd have to give this game a easy 10 out of 10. Because, granted, I just love it, but, like, I could go on and on about it, but it's just so good. I don't know what else to say. There are some cons, though, I'll have to admit. I mentioned earlier about some specials feeling weaker than most, but for the most part, they're good, but, like I mentioned earlier, Jokers, and while I do love Deathstrokes, it's just, it's very situational. That goes for a lot of them, and heck, that problem even carries into Injustice 2, which I'll cover in a later episode. Who knows, maybe it'll be that 50th episode, I don't know. But overall, I'd say cons besides that. Some of the character choices are a bit odd. Like for the DLC, they chose Zatanna, and base game, they chose Hawkgirl, which I completely understand, because Hawkgirl was a member of the Justice League, and Zatanna was a magic user who blocked off Spectre's reign in the actual comic book. So I do understand that. But I don't know, it just felt kind of weird to me that they were in there. It just kind of seemed like backlot DC characters. At least Zatanna did. I guess Hawkgirl kind of had a reason to be there because she was a part of the Justice League. But yeah, overall, I love this game to death, and heck, maybe even tweet out at me or even ask me just, hey, if you want to play a round of Injustice, and yeah, we can play a game of Injustice. And overall, 10 out of 10. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week for the next episode of the podcast. It'll be Skullgirls, which is another fighting game, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you.